The obsidian expanse of space stretched out before Captain Zara Raven like an infinite canvas waiting to be painted by the unfolding drama of the cosmos. She stood upon the bridge of the CSS Phantom, the most advanced vessel in the secretive Ghost Fleet, humanity's ace in the hole. For centuries, Earth had stayed in the shadows, quietly building its strength while the Galactic Confederation dominated the stars. But now, a dire threat had emerged that threatened the very fabric of the universe. "Status report," Zara called out, her voice resonating with a calm authority that anchored her crew amidst the looming uncertainty. "All systems nominal, Captain," replied her XO, Commander Unveiled. "The Ghost Fleet is in formation and awaiting your orders." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed upon the holographic display that hovered before her. The intricate latticework of light painted a grim picture, a spreading crimson stain that represented the encroaching threat of the void wraiths. These enigmatic beings had emerged from the depths of the unknown, leaving a trail of shattered worlds and broken civilizations in their wake. "The Confederation is on the brink of collapse," Zara mused, her brow furrowed in contemplation. "They're not prepared for an enemy like this, which is why we're here," Orion replied, his tone laced with a hint of anticipation. "It's time for Earth to step out of the shadows." Zara couldn't help but feel a flicker of pride at the thought. The Ghost Fleet represented the pinnacle of human ingenuity and determination, a testament to the indomitable spirit that had carried humanity through countless trials and tribulations. Each ship was a marvel of engineering, seamlessly blending cutting-edge technology with the hard-earned wisdom of centuries. A chime from the communications console drew Zara's attention. "Incoming transmission from Earth Command," reported Lieutenant Ariavos, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Zara straightened her posture, the weight of the moment settling upon her shoulders. On screen, the image of Admiral Ilara Thorne, the supreme commander of Earth's military, flickered into existence before them. Her silver hair and piercing gaze conveyed a lifetime of experience and unyielding resolve. "Captain Raven," Admiral Thorne began, her voice filled with a solemn gravity. "The time has come. The Void Wraiths have breached the Orion Arm, and the Confederation teeters on the precipice of annihilation. You know what must be done." Zara nodded, her jaw set with determination. "Yes, Admiral. The Ghost Fleet stands ready." "Good. Your orders are to make contact with the Confederation leadership and offer our assistance. But make no mistake, we operate independently. The fate of the galaxy may well rest upon your shoulders." "Understood, Admiral." Zara saluted crisply as the transmission ended. A heavy silence descended upon the bridge, broken only by the hum of the ship's powerful engines. Zara turned to face her crew, seeing in their eyes a reflection of her own resolve and determination. "This is it," she said, her voice ringing out with a clarity that cut through the tension. "The moment we've trained for, the purpose for which the Ghost Fleet was created. Out there, the galaxy burns. But in here, within these halls, and within our hearts, lies the strength to forge a new future. Are you with me?" A resounding chorus of affirmations filled the bridge, a symphony of unity and purpose. Zara felt a surge of pride and humility, knowing that these brave souls had placed their trust in her leadership. "Helm, set course for the Arcturian Citadel," Zara ordered, her gaze fixed upon the star-strewn expanse before them. "It's time to introduce ourselves to the neighborhood." As the Ghost Fleet surged forward, the Phantom at its head, Zara couldn't help but feel a flicker of uncertainty amid the determination. They were embarking upon an uncharted path, one fraught with danger and the unknown. But she knew, deep in her core, that this was humanity's destiny, to stand as a beacon of hope and strength in a galaxy besieged by darkness. The journey ahead would test them in ways they had never been tested before. They would face trials and tribulations, forge new alliances, and confront ancient evils. But through it all, the spirit of humanity would endure, a flame that refused to be extinguished. And so, as the Phantom slipped into the embrace of the void, Captain Zara Raven steeled herself for the challenges to come. The hidden hand of humanity had been revealed, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. It was a gambit unlike any other, a phantom's dance upon the stage of the cosmos. But then again, Zara mused with a flicker of a smile, that was what humans did best: defy the odds, shatter expectations, and forge their own destiny among the stars. The die had been cast, and the phantom's gambit had begun. The Arcturian citadel hung in space like a gleaming jewel, its spires and domes reflecting the light of 1,000 stars. It was a marvel of alien engineering, a testament to the ingenuity and cooperation of the Galactic Confederation. But as the CSS Phantom and its attendant fleet approached, Captain Zara Raven couldn't shake the feeling that they were sailing into uncharted waters. "Incoming hail from the Citadel," reported Lieutenant Aria Voss, her eyes fixed upon the communications console. Zara nodded, straightening her posture as she prepared to face the unknown. On screen, the image that flickered into existence before them was a kaleidoscope of alien diversity. At the center sat the Arcturian Prime Minister, Xyloth Vex, his crystalline exoskeleton refracting the light in a dazzling display. Flanking him were representatives from a dozen other species: the insectoid Crixians, the ethereal Lumina, and the hulking Gorgonites, to name but a few. "Captain Raven," Prime Minister Vex began, his voice a melodic trill that seemed to resonate through the very hull of the ship, "your arrival is most unexpected." The Confederation was unaware that humanity had achieved such advancements. Zara inclined her head in a gesture of respect, acutely aware of the delicate dance of diplomacy that lay ahead. "Prime Minister Vex, esteemed members of the Confederation, I come bearing an offer of aid and alliance in this dark hour." A ripple of murmurs spread through the assembled aliens, a mix of surprise, suspicion, and cautious optimism. It was the Crixian representative, Scythorax, who spoke next, his mandibles clicking with agitation. "And why should we trust you, human? Your kind has hidden in the shadows for centuries, hoarding your knowledge and your strength. What assurance do we have that you are not simply another threat in disguise?" Zara met Scythorax's compound gaze unflinchingly, her voice steady and resolute. "I understand your concerns, Ambassador Scythorax. But the void wraiths threaten us all. Humanity has spent centuries preparing for a moment such as this, a time when we could step forward and stand alongside our galactic neighbors as equals." "Pretty words," scoffed the Gorgonite warlord, Thrax, his massive bulk shifting restlessly. "But words alone will not turn the tide against the void wraiths." "Indeed they will not," Zara agreed, a hint of steel entering her tone. "Which is why the Ghost Fleet comes bearing more than mere words. We offer our technology, our resources, and our strength in battle. Together, we can forge a new future, one free from the shadow of the void wraiths." As the debate raged on, Zara found herself navigating a treacherous web of galactic politics and ancient grudges. The Confederation was a fractious alliance, held together by little more than necessity and the looming specter of annihilation. Convincing them to accept humanity's aid would be no easy feat. But even as the negotiations unfolded, a new threat emerged. The Citadel's sensors screamed in warning as a fleet of obsidian ships tore their way into the system, the vanguard of the void wraiths. "Red alert," Zora barked, her voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. "All ships, battle stations." The Ghost Fleet reacted with the precision and coordination of a well-oiled machine. Shields snapped into place as weapon systems hummed to life, the very air crackling with barely contained power. "And why should we trust you, human? Your kind has hidden in the shadows for centuries, hoarding your knowledge and your strength. What assurance do we have that you are not simply another threat in disguise?" Zara met Scythorax's compound gaze unflinchingly, her voice steady and resolute. "I understand your concerns, Ambassador Scythorax. But the void wraiths threaten us all. Humanity has spent centuries preparing for a moment such as this, a time when we could step forward and stand alongside our galactic neighbors as equals." "Pretty words," scoffed the Gorgonite warlord. Thrax, his massive bulk shifting restlessly. But words alone will not turn the tide against the Void Wraiths. Indeed, they will not, Zara agreed, a hint of steel entering her tone. Which is why the Ghost Fleet comes bearing more than mere words. We offer our technology, our resources, and our strength in battle. Together, we can forge a new future, one free from the shadow of the Void Wraiths. As the debate raged on, Zara found herself navigating a treacherous web of galactic politics and ancient grudges. The Confederation was a fractious alliance, held together by little more than necessity and the looming specter of annihilation. Convincing them to accept humanity's aid would be no easy feat. But even as the negotiations unfolded, a new threat emerged. The Citadel's sensors screamed in warning as a fleet of obsidian ships tore their way into the system. The vanguard of the Void Wraiths. Red alert. Zara barked, her voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. All ships, battle stations. The Ghost Fleet reacted with the precision and coordination of a well-oiled machine. Shields snapped into place as weapons systems hummed to life, the very air crackling with barely contained power. The Void Wraiths descended upon the Citadel like a swarm of locusts, their ships twisting and writhing in ways that defied the laws of physics. The Confederation fleet, caught off guard and outmatched, struggled to mount a coherent defense. But the Ghost Fleet was not so easily cowed. Under Zara's command, the human ships wove a dizzying dance of death, their advanced weaponry and shields proving more than a match for the Void Wraith's eldritch powers. The Phantom itself was a maelstrom of destruction, its engines roaring as it plunged into the heart of the enemy formation. Zara stood at the center of the storm, a beacon of calm amidst the chaos, directing the flow of battle with a master's touch. And then, as quickly as it had begun, it was over. The last of the Void Wraith ships shattered into oblivion, their twisted remains drifting like macabre sculptures in the void. The Confederation fleet, battered but unbroken, rallied around the Ghost Fleet, a newfound respect dawning in their eyes. In the aftermath of the battle, as the wounded were tended to and the debris cleared away, Zara found herself once more standing before the Confederation Council. But this time, the atmosphere had shifted, suspicion replaced by gratitude, skepticism by attentive hope. Captain Raven, Prime Minister Vex began, his voice heavy with emotion. The Confederation owes you and your brave crews a debt that can never be repaid. You have shown us the true strength and character of humanity, and we would be honored to accept your offer of alliance. Zara inclined her head, a flicker of relief and satisfaction washing over her. It had been a hard-fought victory, but one that had opened the door to a new era of cooperation and unity. But even as the Ghost Fleet and the Confederation celebrated their newfound partnership, Zara knew that the true battle was only just beginning. The Void Wraiths would not be so easily defeated, and the mysteries surrounding their origins and motives remained as dark and inscrutable as ever. As she gazed out into the star-strewn expanse of space, Captain Zara Raven steeled herself for the challenges to come. The path ahead was shrouded in shadows, but one thing was certain: humanity would face it head-on, united with their galactic allies, ready to forge a new destiny among the stars. The shadows had been pierced, and the revelations had only just begun. In the aftermath of the battle at the Arcturian Citadel, an uneasy calm descended upon the galaxy. The alliance between humanity and the Confederation had been forged in the fires of combat, but the true nature of the enemy they faced remained shrouded in mystery. Captain Zara Raven, her Ghost Fleet now fully integrated into the Confederation's military structure, found herself at the center of a desperate race against time to unravel the secrets of the Void Wraiths. "What have we learned?" Zara asked, her gaze sweeping over the assembled team of scientists and analysts. Dr. Lyra Solaris, the Ghost Fleet's chief xenotechnologist, stepped forward, her holographic display flaring to life. "The Void Wraith's technology is unlike anything we've ever encountered," she began, her voice tight with a mix of excitement and trepidation. It seems to defy the very laws of physics as we understand them. On the display, a series of intricate schematics and readouts flashed by, the fruits of countless hours of analysis and reverse engineering. At the center of it all was a pulsing, writhing mass of darkness, the core of the Void Wraith's power. It's almost as if their ships are not entirely of our universe, Dr. Solaris continued. They seem to phase in and out of reality, drawing upon a source of energy that exists beyond the bounds of our understanding. Zara frowned, her mind racing with the implications. Are you saying they're from another dimension? Dr. Solaris nodded grimly. That's our leading hypothesis. And if it's true, it could mean that the Void Wraiths are merely the vanguard of a much greater threat. A heavy silence descended upon the room as the weight of that realization sank in. The idea that the Void Wraiths were but the first wave of an extra-dimensional invasion was a chilling one, and it cast the battles they had fought thus far in a grim new light. There's more, Dr. Solaris said, her voice cutting through the stillness like a blade. We've detected a pattern in the Void Wraiths' movements. They seem to be searching for something, some kind of artifact or technology that they believe will give them an even greater advantage. Zara leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. Do we have any idea what it might be? Dr. Solaris hesitated for a moment before tapping a series of commands into her interface. The holographic display shifted, resolving into a shimmering image of an ancient alien ruin. There are rumors, she said carefully, of a lost civilization that once ruled the galaxy eons ago. They were said to possess technology that could manipulate the very fabric of reality itself. Zara's breath caught in her throat as the implications sank in. If the Void Wraiths were searching for such a weapon, the consequences could be catastrophic. We need to find it first, she said, her voice ringing with determination. Whatever it takes. As the meeting adjourned and the team dispersed to their various tasks, Zora couldn't shake the feeling that they were racing against an unseen clock. The Void Wraiths were relentless, their motives inscrutable, and the stakes could not be higher. But even as they poured all their efforts into the search for the ancient artifact, a new crisis erupted. Across the galaxy, Confederation worlds began to fall silent, one by one, their communications cut off, their defenses shattered. The Void Wraiths, it seemed, had launched a massive offensive, striking at the very heart of the Alliance. We're spread too thin, Commander Unveiled said grimly as the reports flooded in. We can't be everywhere at once. Zara clenched her jaw, a cold fury burning in her veins. The Void Wraiths had played them masterfully, drawing their attention away from the front lines while they massed their forces for a devastating blow. We have to prioritize, she said, her voice hard as steel. We need to find that artifact before they do. It may be our only hope of turning the tide. As the Ghost Fleet mobilized, racing towards the coordinates of the ancient ruins, Zora couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. They were plunging headlong into the unknown, chasing a legend that might well prove to be nothing more than a myth. And all the while, the Void Wraiths continued their relentless advance, leaving a trail of shattered worlds and broken dreams in their wake. But there could be no turning back now. The die had been cast, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Zara knew that she and her crew would stop at nothing to uncover the secrets of the ancient civilization and wield them against the Void Wraiths, no matter the cost. As the Ghost Fleet slipped into the void, racing towards its destiny, Captain Zara Raven steeled herself for the trials to come. The vanguard of the Void Wraiths had been met and beaten back, but the true war was only just beginning. In the shadows of the unknown, ancient powers stirred, waiting to be unleashed upon an unsuspecting galaxy. And at the center of it all stood humanity. A young race, once hidden, now thrust onto the galactic stage. They had proven their strength and their resolve, but the greatest challenges still lay ahead. In the darkness of space, the CSS Phantom hurtled forward, a gleaming arrow aimed at the heart of the mystery. And on its bridge, Captain Zara Raven stood tall, ready to face whatever the void might bring. The vanguard had been met. Now, The true battle for the fate of the galaxy would begin. The ancient ruins loomed before the ghost fleet like a twisted alien nightmare, a shattered remnant of a civilization long dead, yet still pulsing with an unseen power. Captain Zara Raven stood on the bridge of the CSS Phantom, her eyes fixed upon the holographic display that mapped the labyrinthine corridors and chambers of the derelict structure. "There's no telling what we'll find in there," Commander Unveiled said, his voice tight with tension. "The void wraiths could be waiting for us." Zara nodded grimly, her jaw set with determination. "That's a risk we'll have to take. If the artifact is here, we can't let them get their hands on it." As the ghost fleet took up defensive positions around the ruins, Zara led a hand-picked team of specialists into the heart of the ancient structure. Dr. Lyra Solaris, her eyes alight with a mix of fear and fascination, walked at Zora's side, her scanners probing the alien architecture for any sign of the artifact. "The energy readings are off the charts," Dr. Solaris murmured, her voice echoing strangely in the cavernous chambers. "Whatever the ancients built here, it was designed to channel the immense power." Zara felt a chill run down her spine as they pressed deeper into the ruins, the walls seeming to pulse and writhe with a sickly, eldritch light. Every instinct screamed at her to turn back, to flee this place of ancient horrors and unseen dangers. But she pushed forward, driven by a grim determination to see their mission through to the end. And then, at last, they found it. In a vast, circular chamber that thrummed with an unearthly resonance, a pulsing mass of darkness hovered in the air. The artifact they had sought for so long. It was a thing of nightmare and wonder, a construct of twisted geometries and impossible angles that seemed to defy the very laws of reality. "By the stars," Dr. Solaris breathed, her voice trembling with awe. "The power it must contain." But before they could approach the artifact, a chilling sound filled the chamber, the shriek of void wraith ships tearing their way into the material universe. Zara's heart sank as she realized the trap they had stumbled into. The void wraiths had been waiting for them all along, using the ghost fleet's desperate search as a means to draw them out. "Back to the ships," Zara barked, her voice ringing with urgency. "We have to get out of here." But even as they raced back through the twisting corridors of the ruins, the void wraiths were upon them. The ghost fleet found itself engulfed in a maelstrom of eldritch energy and twisted metal as the full might of the extra-dimensional armada bore down upon them. On the bridge of the Phantom, Zara gritted her teeth as the ship bucked and shuddered under the onslaught. The void wraiths had played their hand masterfully, drawing the ghost fleet into a trap from which there seemed to be no escape. "We can't win this fight," Commander Vale shouted over the din of battle. "We need to retreat." But Zara knew that retreat was not an option. If they fled now, the void wraiths would claim the artifact, and all would be lost. They had to find a way to turn the tables, to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. "Concentrate all fire on the lead ships," Zara ordered, her voice ringing with a desperate resolve. "We need to punch a hole in their formation and make a run for the artifact." The ghost fleet responded with a fury born of desperation, their weapons blazing as they threw themselves at the enemy with reckless abandon. The void wraiths reeled under the onslaught, their eldritch shields flickering and failing as the human ships pressed their advantage. And then, incredibly, a gap appeared in the enemy lines, a narrow corridor of safety that led straight to the artifact chamber. Zara didn't hesitate, ordering the Phantom to plunge headlong into the breach, the rest of the ghost fleet following close behind. As they raced towards their prize, the void wraiths closed in behind them, their weapons tearing at the ghost fleet's shields and armor. But Zara held the course, her eyes fixed upon the pulsing darkness of the artifact. They were so close now, so close to claiming the power that could turn the tide of the war. And then, with a final, desperate surge of speed, the Phantom breached the chamber walls, its landing ramps slamming down onto the alien floor. Zara was moving before the ship had even come to a halt, racing towards the artifact with a fire in her eyes. But as her hands closed around the pulsing mass of darkness, a searing pain tore through her mind. a psychic feedback that threatened to shatter her very soul. In that moment, Zara realized the terrible truth. The artifact was not a weapon, but a prison. A cage for an ancient, malevolent intelligence that had been locked away eons ago. And now, with the artifact in human hands, that intelligence was free once more, free to wreak havoc upon an unsuspecting galaxy. As the Ghost Fleet made its desperate escape, fighting tooth and nail to break free from the Void Wraith trap, Captain Zara Raven stared into the pulsing heart of the artifact, a sinking feeling in her gut. They had come seeking a weapon to turn the tide of war, but instead, they had unleashed an even greater threat upon the universe. The Maw had been breached, and the Ghost Fleet had emerged victorious. But at what cost? As the CSS Phantom limped away from the ancient ruins, battered and bloodied but unbroken, Zara knew that their true battle was only just beginning. For in the depths of space, an ancient evil stirred, awakened from its eons-long slumber. And the fate of the galaxy now rested upon the shoulders of a single daring crew. The last best hope of humanity and the Confederation alike. Into the Maw they had gone, and from the ashes they had returned. But the greatest challenge still lay ahead. The journey back to Arcturus Prime was a somber one. The Ghost Fleet limping through the void like a wounded beast, its ships battered and scarred from the desperate battle at the ancient ruins. On the bridge of the CSS Phantom, Captain Zara Raven stared into the pulsing heart of the artifact, her mind racing with the implications of what they had unleashed. "We can't let it fall into the wrong hands," she said, her voice heavy with exhaustion and grim determination. "If the Void Wraiths claim it, or if the Confederation tries to use it as a weapon, the consequences would be catastrophic." Dr. Lyra Solaris finished, her eyes haunted by the memories of the eldritch horrors they had witnessed. As the Ghost Fleet docked at the orbital station above Arcturus Prime, Zara steeled herself for the difficult conversations ahead. She knew that the leaders of the Confederation would be eager to claim the artifact for themselves, to wield its power against the Void Wraiths and any other threats that might arise. But Zara had seen the true nature of the artifact, the malevolent intelligence that lurked within its pulsing heart. She knew that it could not be controlled, that any attempt to harness its power would only lead to ruin and destruction. In the days that followed, the debate raged across the Confederation, a bitter struggle between those who saw the artifact as a weapon to be wielded and those who recognized it as a threat to be contained. Zara found herself at the center of the maelstrom, fighting tooth and nail to make the leaders of the Confederation see reason. "We cannot fight evil with evil," she said, her voice ringing out across the council chambers. "If we use the artifact, we will become no better than the Void Wraiths, a scourge upon the galaxy, consumed by our own lust for power." In the end, it was the memory of the fallen that swayed the Confederation. The countless lives lost in the desperate battle at the ancient ruins, the brave souls who had given everything to secure the artifact and keep it out of enemy hands. "We will find another way," Zara said, her voice heavy with the weight of the decision. "We will face the Void Wraiths as a united front, not as a fractured alliance fighting over scraps of power." And so the decision was made. The artifact would be sealed away, locked in a secret vault deep beneath the surface of Arcturus Prime. A team of scientists and engineers, led by Dr. Solaris, would work tirelessly to unravel its secrets, to find a way to neutralize the threat it posed without unleashing its destructive potential. As for the Ghost Fleet, they would serve as the vanguard of the Confederation, a swift and deadly strike force that could respond to any threat anywhere in the galaxy. Under Zara's command, they would continue to push the boundaries of human innovation and ingenuity, always staying one step ahead of the Void Wraiths and any other dangers that might arise. Months turned into years, and the war raged on, a desperate struggle for survival that pushed the Confederation to its limits. The Void Wraiths proved to be a tenacious and relentless foe, their eldritch powers and twisted technology a constant threat to the fragile alliance. But through it all, the Ghost Fleet remained a shining beacon of hope, a symbol of human resilience and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. Zara and her crew fought with a fire and passion that inspired the entire Confederation, their bravery and sacrifice a rallying cry for all those who stood against the darkness. And then, after years of tireless research and experimentation, Dr. Solaris and her team made a breakthrough. They had found a way to use the artifact's own power against it, to create a weapon that could sever the Void Wraith's connection to our universe once and for all. The plan was risky, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. But Zara knew that they had no choice, that this was their last, best hope of ending the war and saving the galaxy from annihilation. In a final, desperate gambit, the Ghost Fleet led a massive Confederation armada in a daring assault on the Void Wraith's stronghold, a twisted, nightmarish realm that pulsed with the same eldritch energy as the artifact itself. The battle was fierce and bloody, the casualties mounting on both sides as the Confederation ships clashed with the Void Wraith armada in a maelstrom of fire and fury. But even as the Ghost Fleet fought with everything they had, Zara knew that their true mission lay elsewhere, that the key to victory rested within the pulsing heart of the artifact itself. With a heavy heart, she gave the order to Dr. Solaris and her team to activate the weapon they had created, to unleash the artifact's power against the Void Wraiths and sever their connection to our universe once and for all. The results were cataclysmic. A blinding flash of light engulfed the battlefield, a searing wave of energy that tore through the fabric of reality itself. The Void Wraith ships shuddered and collapsed, their twisted forms dissolving into nothingness as the artifact's power consumed them. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, it was over. The Void Wraiths were gone, their connection to our universe severed forever. The Confederation had emerged victorious, battered and bloodied but unbroken. In the aftermath of the battle, as the Ghost Fleet limped back to Arcturia Prime once more, Zara couldn't help but feel a sense of bittersweet triumph. They had won the war, but at a terrible cost. The lives of countless brave souls, the scars that would never fully heal. But even as she mourned the fallen, Zara knew that their sacrifice had not been in vain, that the galaxy was a safer place because of their courage and determination. And as she looked out across the stars, she knew that the future was bright, that the Confederation and humanity would face whatever challenges lay ahead with the same fire and resilience that had carried them through their darkest hour. For they had risen from the ashes, forged in the crucible of war and tempered by the bonds of friendship and unity. And as long as they stood together, there was nothing they could not achieve, no frontier they could not conquer, no darkness they could not overcome. The Ghost Fleet had completed its mission, and the galaxy would never be the same. But for Captain Zara Raven and her crew, the adventure was only just beginning. A new chapter in the saga of humanity's rise to greatness among the stars.